Okay, so now in this video I want to talk about what we call slide animations and transitions. And these are animated overall things that happen in your presentation based on whatever you pick. This is I'll tell you, this is a pretty powerful feature or set of features that can be done with very minimal effort. It's just unbelievable how easy it is, and it really creates some pretty dynamic results. Okay, so we're going to start out with this particular slide, and what I want to do is make it so where when I am presenting and I arrive on this particular slide, that instead of the text just appearing, let me just show you how this will look, instead of it just showing up, you know, while we're doing the slideshow, like that, just boom, there it is. We're going to make it so where it'll come in, we'll have like the title come in, but then as we click our mouse while we're doing the presentation, each one of these lines will come in, and we can either make it come in line by line, we can have it even come in character for character. Okay, but the point of the matter is you're kind of building it up. You're saying, okay, here's one thing, da-da, here's the next thing, da-da, and so forth. So instead of overwhelming your audience with this big boom, and there it is, all these different points, you present them one at a time, okay, using this animation capability. So let me show you how this is going to work. I'm going to go ahead and hit the escape. All right, so what we do first of all, and by the way too, you have to do this on a per slide basis. In other words, if we have 13 slides, let's say we want to animate all 13 of them, we're going to have to do what I'm about to show you 13 different times. We can't just say, take all these slides and make them animated. You have to go back and do each one of them, just so you know, all right? So the first thing you'll do is you'll click somewhere in your bullet points here, okay? Whether you click there or if you click on to the frame, that's up to you. As long as you're somewhere in it, that's all that matters. All right, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to a tab called Animations. How convenient, huh? So we click onto that. All right, so you're given this little animation panel here, and you can actually hit the More button to actually see all that you have. There's quite a few different ways you can make your information here come in. So we're going to start, let me just pop out of there. So we're going to start first of all with the appear. Okay, let's see what the appear does for us, right? I mean, the best way to do this, to figure this stuff out, is just to go and look through each one of them and try to figure out which one you think would look best and work best in your particular situation. So your choices are in here, and you can also get them over here too. So this add animation here, that has the same list in it. So it's up to you how you want to work this. But we're going to start out with this first one with the appear, okay? So I click onto that. Now keep in mind what we've done, all we've done is we've just clicked somewhere in the bullet points there, right? We click onto appear, and there it is. It's like, well, what does that do? Well, what you can do is over on the side here, we have the preview, all right? And we can actually just kind of click onto that, and it kind of shows how they're going to come. Oh, let me get back in here. So do the preview. And it kind of gives us, well, I guess that's probably not the best way to do this particular one. Let me do it with the slideshow instead. So I'll go ahead and I'll click on to the slideshow. All right. So this is what's going to appear as when you happen across this particular slide. You advance to it. And we're going to be talking later about how to make that happen. We're just talking about this now. But basically all you'd have to do is while you're here now, you click your mouse. There's your first one, right? So you click your mouse and you would say in your presentation, blah, 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 whatever, right? And then when you're ready to go to the next point, you go and just click your mouse again, and there's your second one, right? And you click your mouse again, there's your third one, and that's it. And then, of course, if you click your mouse again, then it takes you to the next slide, see? Anyway, but the point of the matter is, let me just go back to that slide number 3. That's all you have to do these animations. So you say, okay, fine. They appear real clever, pretty neat, who cares, whatever. You might not be that excited by it. So that's why we have so many more. Now you go over to the fade, all right? And that's how the fade will come in. See, so let me do this again. I click it, boom, boom, boom. See how it comes in? That's pretty cool, All right? So that's how it would appear. If I do the fly in, same kind of thing there. It's flying in. The float in, they're floating in. The split, look at that. All right? And then we also have the wipe. Do something like that. Now, each one of these has options. All right? So for instance, if I go to the appear, okay, where it just appears, that's where it just, one comes after the other. I can go to the effect options and say by paragraph, all at once, or as an object, all right? In this case, what would be the point? I mean, if you're saying bring it all at once, then what's the point of even doing it, all right? Boom, there they are, right? So this probably wouldn't be a good one to work with. Now, if we go over to, let's say, the fly-in, now there they're flying in from the bottom. You see that? Now, what kind of options could we have for that? Well, each one of these is going to have their own kind of option. So I click on Effect Options, and here I can say, well, it's defaulting from, coming in from the bottom. Well, I'd say, well, I'd rather them coming in from the left side. So I click on the left, and that's how they'll come in every time I click my mouse. So click, 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 right? If I go back in there again, I say do it from the top. Boom, boom, boom. Pretty straightforward. Let me just go through a few more here. Let's say with the float in, okay? Same kind of thing. Now that one, they're coming in from the bottom. Well, if I go to the effect options, I can have it float down instead. So I can do like that. Boom, boom, boom. See? That's pretty interesting. Now the split, that's doing that. Now, what other options could we have there? Well, maybe a vertical out. So we do it that way, it's going like that, see? Or horizontal out. So, yeah, I mean, not a big deal, but I think it's still better than doing nothing, really. All right, so we go over to the wipe here. There's the wipe, and of course, same kind of thing there. Maybe from the right you want it to wipe, okay? Now, I'm just going to go to the next level of these things. So I'm just going to go and hit the little down arrow, and here we've got the shape. So I click onto that. Do something like that. Now, if I go back to the shape effect, I don't know if you can really tell when you see that. Let me just show that. It's almost like it's like an elongated, diamond, coming in there. Well, if you look at this, we've got the out as well. Now, if you look at this, see how it comes out like that? That's kind of cool, right? The wheel, look at this one. It's like a radar almost. And of course, I'm sure we've got spokes, 3 spokes. How about 8 spokes? Look at this one. There's your 8 spokes. That's kind of freaky, huh? All right, we got random bars. You can do this one here, and it gives you kind of like little white lines going through it all. What kind of options do we have there? Not much. We can go vertical at least, right? Okay. We got the grow and turn. Look at that one, huh? What kind of options do we have there? Not much. That's it, all right? The zoom, it does that. That's kind of cool, all right? Again, you can have it slide center. So you can tell the difference there. And then we got the swivel. Look at that, huh? Very, very powerful stuff, and you're not having to really do any kind of programming or anything. You're just picking, the items, right? There's the bounce. That's kind of neat, all right? Now, if I go to the next level, we have the pulse. Look at this one. We have the color pulse, right? We got the teetering. We got the spinning. All right, we've got the grow and shrink. That's not too good. And we got the desaturate. I guess that's with the bullet points. You can kind of see that happening. Let's take a look at what that one does. We'll do the desaturate. We'll go into our slideshow, and we click our mouse and click it. See how the little black, or the the stars are turning black. Let me go back here again. Okay, so it comes up like this, and as you click your mouse, you know what, let me get out of here. All right, now we'll go back into the slideshow. Okay, so you notice the color of them right now. So now as I click my mouse, it turns black. There's the next one. There's the next one as I click my mouse. All right, not bad. But this goes on and on. I mean, you got, like I said, we've got a whole lot that you can play around with here. I don't want to bore you. I think my job really is just to kind of show you what you can do. As you can see, there's a lot of other ones that we can choose from as well. I'm trying not to make this video last a half hour because we really don't need to make it last that long. All right, let's go back to the first one. I'm just going to kind of go back up to the top here. And we had that fly in. All right, so we did that one. Now, do you notice the speed that it's flying in at, right? What you can do is whatever one you've chosen for this particular slide, you've got other options over here as well. Now, this one is the duration. That's how long it's taking for each one to come up, right? So when we go, let me just do this again, the bump, that the amount of time it takes for it to appear and to position itself is a half a second, right? That's what you see here. Now, if I go in there and I say I want to make this, let's say maybe 2 seconds, right? And now I click it again. Actually, let me do this again here. I'll make it 2 seconds, all right? And now, all right, I go to my view, my slideshow. Now watch when I click it, much slower, right? How long is that? 2 seconds, see? And there we go. All right, so that's what you can do in that case. So up to this point, I think we've seen some pretty impressive animation. But one of the things that might be bothering, maybe you've kind of noticed this, is that especially when, let's say we had this one here, and we had picked the fly in, and of course the options are that we can have it fly in from any direction. The problem is that it only comes from one direction, right? How would we make it so where we could do a fly in, but maybe the first one comes in from the top, the second one comes in from the bottom, and the third one comes in from the side, or whatever, however you want to do it. In other words, you want to have a number of different options for each, or each line having its own option, I guess. Think about it that way, right? How the heck would you do that? Well, what we have to do is we have to go into a specialized screen that will allow us to make this happen. So what we have to do is, while we're in the Animations tab here, we have to go over here to something called Animation Pane. Now that'll open up a panel off to the right-hand side, and that now is showing you this one right here, this number one, this clump right here is representing all of this. So by being on that one and having chosen, or better yet, you being here and having chosen that would have been the same thing as you being here, clicking onto that, and then choosing what you want. All right, so it's already set in there. Now, notice something at the bottom of this. There's like a little chevron. When you click onto that chevron, it opens up into the three different bullet points, right? The first one, the second one, third one. Well, when you click on this first one here, all right, we have the option where the effect is coming from the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this from the bottom to coming from the top. So that's what that one's going to do, right? Then I'm going to go to the second one, and I want this one to come from the, in this case, from the top, right? Wait a minute. So this one here, we got it from the bottom, or coming from the top, I'm sorry. So this one here, we want this one to come from the bottom, and that one's already set for that, so we don't have to worry about that. But this third one, I want that one to come in from the side, see? So I click, so that'll be the third one here. So I go to here and I say, okay, I want to come in from the left-hand side, and do that, all right? Now, having done all that, let me show you how this is going to look. So I click on the slideshow, do my first click, boom, there it is, coming from the top. Second click, coming from the bottom. Third click, coming in from the left. Not bad. Let me go ahead and escape that. And now if you change your mind, you say, well, it might be kind of cool if it came from the left, came from the right, and then came from the left again, right? Or maybe left, right, and up. Well, in that case, we say, okay, on this one, we'll set that one for the left. The second one here. So the second one here will be from the right. Okay. And then the third one will be from the, let me go from the top. Or actually, better yet, I think maybe it'll look better maybe from the bottom. All right, so we'll go from the bottom. So now we go to the slideshow. So click one time, comes from the left. Second time from the right. Third time from the bottom, just like that. Hit my escape key, get out of there. All right, so now that's how I would specifically change each one of them. Now, let's say I want to modify this even more and make it so where when the characters come in, when they float in, or I should say when the lines float in, I want them to come in character for character or word for word, and so the whole line. How about that? How the heck can we make that happen? So we're going to figure that we want all three of these to do that kind of thing, either come in by character or come by word, all right? If not, then you would have to go in and do each one of these, but we're going to do them all as one thing. So what I'll do is I will collapse the chevron over here, and now this little drop-down arrow will affect all three. Otherwise, I would have to go the drop-down arrow on each one of these and make that specific change. But because I'm going to make the change the same on all of them, I'll just click them all together and do them all at once. So now when I click onto here, all right, we have something here called Effect Options. All right, so I click onto that. This comes up, all right. Then down here at the bottom, you'll see this animate text, and it says all at once, meaning it comes in one paragraph at a time, all right. We're going to change that to by word, all right. So I'll just do it by word, and I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, just like that. And look at that. So that's how they're going to come in. And that's by word, all right? All right, now if I go back in there again, all right, and do that there, and then we'll go ahead and change it from word to letter, all right? So there we go on that one. And then once we've done that, hit OK, and now they are by character. That kind of looks odd. Now, the other thing that's causing this to kind of look a little dopey is that we've got this thing set for 2 seconds. I mean, that's pretty slow. In this kind of a situation, we probably want to change this back to the half a second there, right? So now, as it happens, it'll come in like that. I think that's a lot easier in this case. Just doing it like that. So I think now that we've got it set for a half a second, you go ahead and preview it now. I think that makes it look a little bit easier on the eyes. Okay, so this is one area of it. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another slide that we're going to do some animation on as well. We'll go down here to slide number 11. All right. Now in this one, it's got about 6 different bullet points. What I'd like to do is animate this and have it where it will come in, however we animate it, no matter how we do it, but where it comes in reverse order, kind of like a top 10 list, and you start from the bottom and eventually you get number 1, all right? So how do we make something like that happen? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go click onto this, go and choose, let's say, the fly in. So it'll be something like that, right? All right, so that's how it normally would come in. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go back over into the animation pane, and we're just going to leave it, all collapsed. Click on that little drop-down arrow, go to the effect options, all right? And then we'll go over here to the text animation tab, and look at this, in reverse order. How about that one, huh? So we click onto that, hit OK, and that's how they're going to come in. So let me go ahead and I'll go into the slideshow so you can actually see this now in action. So you come in and you say, okay, blah, blah, and then there it is. There's number 6, all right? So, and then you say, okay, now the 5th one would be da-da, and the 4th one, da-da. So as you're clicking your mouse, they're coming in one at a time just like that. So that's pretty cool. Now to turn off that reversal, all we have to do is go back into here again, go back to the effect options, go back to text animation and take that check mark off, all right? And now they'll go back to the right order, or to the, the order from the top. Now, here's another thought, whether you have it in reverse order or not. I would like to have it bring in, let's say, the first one, regardless of which one it is, bottom or top, And when it then goes to the next one, the first one or the previous one fades out. Okay, that's kind of neat. So that way it kind of highlights the one that's most current and kind of fades it out, the other one's out. And by doing that, you're keeping your audience less distracted by looking at all the other things. I want them to focus on what we're talking about right now. So by doing that with the fade, I think that would be really cool and useful. So how do we make that happen? Well, what you do is we go back into here again, and we go back to our effect options. In the effect area, we have this thing here called after animation, meaning after it comes in, what do you want it to do? And right now it says nothing, don't dim it, all right? So what we do is we click on that little drop down arrow and we pick the color that we'd like to dim to, right? So you obviously want to pick something that's lighter than what you have. And I think maybe, I didn't rehearse this, so I'm just going to guess. Let's just say I want to go with this one here, okay? So I'll click that, and then we'll go ahead and hit OK, all right? And there we go. So what happens in the actual slideshow, you click your mouse the first time, okay, that comes in, okay, great, you talk about it. And then you click your mouse again, and now technology comes in, all right? And that's black, right? You click it again, now that fades out, and now we get the finances. So it might turn out when I look at this, it is a little, well, I mean, it's not totally invisible. I mean, it's easy to see, but that finances in black really stands out. So I think that's pretty good. If you feel that you want the color to be even lighter, then what you would do is you'd go back into here again, your effect options, you click on that little drop down and you pick a lighter color. Maybe you want to go with this one right here. I don't know if that'll be any better. Hit OK. I guess that would be a lot better. Now the only problem that you have with this is that it's so invisible that nobody can see it, and that might cause a problem as well. So then you say, okay, fine, that might be problematic. So we'll go back in there, I'll go back to my effect and change that back to this color here. And I think that would be the way to go. So let me say one more thing about this, and this is kind of backtracking a little bit. When I showed you how to expand this out with a chevron, and where we could click on each one of them and pick a different effect if we wanted to, we can also pick a completely different animation, believe it or not. So you could, we'll just do it on this one here. We could say maybe on this first one, the personnel, that's the first one that comes in. So it's still going to fade and everything. But what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, I want that one to let's say, fade in. Okay, so we'll kind of do something like that, right? And that would be that one. And then I could say on this one here, I want this one to, I don't know, float in, all right? And I can pick the direction I want it to be as well, all right? So I can kind of mix this up. I can maybe go this one here, and I could find maybe on that second level, maybe the one where we're doing the bounce. And that one could bounce in, see? So a lot of different things you can do here, but what we're doing is we're by using this area here, we're able to modify not only individual ones by just with their animation, but also affect the options as well. So just thought I'd show that to you. So now when we go to do the presentation and we come to the first slide here, okay, or the slide comes up here, click the mouse, it comes in like that, right? Next one we click and it comes floating in, and of course that one still fades out in the beginning. Click it again and this one bounces in, see? And then you got that and you've got that, see? So pretty cool. Now aside from just animating our bullet points, we can also animate graphics. Now in previous videos, what we were doing, we're working with I was showing you guys how to create graphs and how to do the diagrams of the organizational charts and all that stuff. We can actually animate this to where we can make each object, each of the bars come in one at a time to kind of show like a growth kind of thing maybe. So I want to show you how to animate this with the, let's say, we'll do the bounce one, I think. So we'll make it so where each of the bars or sets of bars. We'll do a few different ones here where I'll show them how we bounce them in there. So if we just were to click anywhere on the graph and go over to our animations and come into here, and we were to click on to, let's say, let me get back down there, and click on the bounce, all right? Then that's how it would come in. So again, pretty simple. And that in itself might be a great thing. And you might be happy with it. But we're going to go a lot further with this, where we're going to make it so where individual pieces come in, all right, by themselves. So what we'll do here is we'll go back and turn on our animation pane, get that open. Then, and you'll notice too here, it doesn't give us any kind of a chevron to break it down. It's just one piece, and that's okay. Now, we go ahead and we click onto here, all right? We go into the effect options, all right? And we have a choice here called chart animation. Pretty cool. Now, we can do this a number of different ways, but the first one would be group chart as one object. Now, that's what it's doing right now. That was just a boom, it just came all at once. I click onto here and I say I want to bring it in, and we'll do each one of these, bring it in by series, okay? Now, the series would be, the orange would come in first, the red would come in second, the green would come in third. So I'll just show you how this works. So I click on there, choose that, hit OK. All right, so that comes in. That comes in. Dun, 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 dun. That's pretty cool. And if you look at this with the chevron, now it shows you those, all four of them, see, in there. So in essence, this one here is the green, this one here is the red, this one here is the orange, and this one here is the framework, you know, the lines and the legend and all that. So what you could actually do with this one is we could click onto this and say, in this case, none. All right, so that becomes a none. Now, once you've done that, now let me show you how this is going to work now. If I go back into the slideshow, it already has this. See, that's appeared. That we took the animation off of that. Now when we click the mouse, there's your orange for series 1, there's your series 2, and there's your series 3. That's pretty cool. I just don't like, to me, I just don't like the idea that it's bringing in the framework as well. I'd rather the frame appear and then boom, 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 right? Now, I'll hit escape, and we'll go back into, so I'm going to bring this back up again, click back onto here, all right? Go back in the effect options, go back to my chart animation. Now this time I'm going to do it by category, all right? Now the category is each of these groups, right? So if I go ahead and hit OK, all right, it brings in, you know, the framework. There's your category 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, if I open this up, it's showing 5 because this right here is category 4, category 3, category 2, category 1, and then this is the framework. So I'll click on the framework, tell it that I want no animation on that, right? So now when I go to present it, that's already there, the framework, and now I click it, there's your category 1, your category 2, your category 3, and your category 4. I think it's a great thing, really. Now I hit the escape key to get out of there. I'll collapse it, go back to here again, and go back to my effect options. All right, so now I'm left with just a couple here, but we can do by element and series, okay? So if I do this one, well, you'll see here, click onto that, hit OK. So what happens now, so it does each element in each of the series. So there's that one. And then you'll click your mouse again, click it again, click it again, and you get that. Okay, so I think you get that idea. All right, I'll just escape that. All right, so now, let me do that. All right, so in the last one, not to bore you, but we'll just do the last one so you can see it. The last one here is going to be by element of a category. So we go and hit OK on that one. And this time around, it does that one, does that one. So it shows the build for each one of the categories. So it might be like this is now January for each one of the items. This is, you know, whatever, but whatever the data would be, you can see it build that way. So you got it building in all different directions. So pretty cool. And just to say one more thing, I can't help but show you this one, and then I'm going to let you guys go. And again, look, we're at 30 minutes on the video. I apologize, but hey, we got a lot to talk about here. But if I open up the chevron, then, and let's say I just pick this one here, okay? And this is the second bar, so it would be like this one here that would be coming in. I can tell that one, but instead of making it bounce, okay, I can say do a swivel, all right? Look at that. That's what that would do. Actually, that second one was actually the first one. The first one was actually the framework. Sorry about that. Okay, so that one could swivel. I could say on this one here, I want it to do a wheel. Look at that. All right. I could pick the third one. I can make that go to a grow and turn. That's kind of cool as well. So a lot of different options here. Now, if I sat there and said, well, I think that grow and turn kind of looks pretty good. Maybe I'll collapse it, right? And then while I'm on this one, I'll just say, hey, we're going to make this the, go back up here. We're going to make this one the grow and turn, okay? So by doing it to all of them, or doing to the collapse group, it does it to all of them. So I do the grow and turn, so now it comes in like that. That's pretty slick. All right. And that's how that works. And of course, you know, with this one, because you're really picky, you might say, well, the first one, which is actually framework, I don't want them to do anything. So I'm going to say on that one, I want nothing, right? So now when you go and run into the slideshow, it already is there. And then when you click your mouse, first one comes in, click it, and so forth, see? Not bad. All right. And if you've decided you've gotten over your head with this and you just want to start over again, all you need to do is click back onto the graph and go back over here and tell it none, and you're back to square one with all of it, and then you can go on your way with it. All right, I wanted to cover the transitions, but we're going to do that on the next video. I think this one's a little long here, so we're going to cut this off now, and we're going to do the transitions in the next video. So I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you can use some of this stuff. This is a great way of keeping your audience's attention as you're making your presentation, because as you know, because you probably sat through a number of presentations, they are, for the most part, kind of boring at most times. So getting something like this, getting a life, you know, breathing a little life into your presentation, what a great deal. All right, appreciate you watching. Take care.